We are WNST. Tassel, Baltimore. Baltimore Positive. We are positively into Baltimore v. Washington week around here, as well as a very, very special week for me and for anyone who is a Libra, all of us good, well-balanced folk out there, if you believe in such fiction. We're going to be celebrating birthdays this week. We're going to be at Pizza John's in Essex with our friends from the Maryland Lottery. I'll have Raven scratch-offs to give away, as well as our friends at Liberty Pure Solutions, putting us out with our incredible oyster tour that has now hatched like a pearl. We get the 26th anniversary oyster and crab motif coming. Thank you, Jessica Vallis and Harford Designs, as well as Jiffy Lube and Royal Farms, powering up our friend Luke Jones, going back and forth to Owings Mills. What a week ahead here. Leonard Raskin, it's his birthday as well. By the way, a beautiful party the other night. Thanks to Tony and Andrew Conrad for throwing some crabs together as well on your crab feast.
Yes,
And
sir.
Raskin Global. That's not officially your birthday till you come and get pizza in Essex with me, right?
That's right. The 12th. We got the 12th is
The real
the big
birthday.
the big 60. The
How do
big
you top that
60.
many crabs last weekend? It's like a whole month-long celebration you're doing, dude.
That's right. We're doing a month long. We're doing the month of October because
60 days.
60 days for 60 years because 60 matters. 60 is it's not traumatic. I don't want to say it's traumatic, but it's certainly noticeable.
I could tell, man. You took the microphone at your own event. And you're like, this is some stuff here. This
This
is,
this
yeah.
is something. 60's like something. Yeah, I didn't like 21 was cool. And the thing about 21, back in the day, when Maryland changed the drinking age to 21.
Yeah, you were on the other end of that. You were
Right,
64, right?
right,
You
right.
missed it. You missed it by a month, though.
Well,
You
October, and it
made
was
it.
it was July. No, 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 no. The law came in July. And so what happened was I had a bunch of friends. We all went to school together. We hung out together, everything.
The
And
64s. That's right.
the deal was, uh, July, June folk up to June could drink.
I
And
remember
I,
this. My buddies were born in September and November. Ed
right,
Rogowski was born in November.
couldn't
I
do
used
it.
his fake ID when I went to the
Right,
surf
couldn't
club to
do
get
it.
and Leon, one of my dearest oldest friends, Lee's birthday September something 64, and they missed
Yep,
it. Now
yep.
we had a guy up the street that could get us beer who was born in March.
Well, that was the
Jerry.
thing. We had
Yeah.
all my friends, like half of us could and half of us couldn't. So, so
Wow.
21, so 21 was
I
like,
haven't thought
okay,
of this since 1989.
right. 21, you can legally drink. So 21 was a cool birthday. Then,
Oh, right.
married at 30, married at 30, kid coming along 40, 50, 55. Like, no big deal. Like, life is good. Life is great. And the kid is at college. He's graduated. He's on his master's degree. And you go, 60. Like, I remember
Well, it's the
21
Talking
and
Head songs.
30.
Well, how did I get here?
Right. 60 just, it didn't seem like, it seemed like that was always old
The thing that adds up for me is like
until you're not
literally
old.
the sports part of it adds up for me at this point. When you're talking about 41 years since the Orioles have won, when
Yep.
you start to talk about the Ravens being here so long that guys like Chad Steele could throw guys like me out after 30 years of
Yep.
promoting and
Yep.
30 years.
I just think, man, it's just crazy.
Years, right? Like I get the 26 cupcake, and like it's a big deal when you've done something a long time, but then you tack on to that how old I am, and I'm like, I'm 56 this week, and
Right.
that's weird for me. 56 is, and
Right.
it's weird. My son turned 40 2 weeks ago,
Yeah,
right?
there you
My
go.
son turned
There
40,
you go.
and all I can remember is my 30th birthday was that one for me, Leonard, where I turned 30, and my girlfriend at the time, my wife, threw this big surprise party. It was such a big deal to turn 30. We have video of it, pictures and stuff
Right.
like that, and
Right.
I'm thinking, my God, 26 years later. But all of that being said, the sports part of it is really what dates. I mean, last week you and I did that incredible series of
Oh, that was
things with that
beautiful.
great
That
guy
was
from the Capitol
beautiful
Center.
from the
That's
Cap
one of my
Center.
man. I hope everybody listens this week or
That was
goes and
great.
watches the
That
videos.
was great.
If you had any, that's how long we've been around. That place has been gone 30 years, man.
And how insane is that? And it's also weird. You think in my brain, like somebody will say 30 years ago, right? 30 years ago. And I'm thinking 1975. No, 30 years ago was 1994.
Right,
Like, oh my
right.
God.
We are the
Yeah,
happy days, I would
we
say at this
are.
point.
We
All right,
are they. We are
I want to
they.
let's get onto the field here because I mean, you and I
Yes,
are gonna. I don't know what the hell we're gonna talk about on our birthday Friday, but Leonard Raskin is here. Raskin Global. He helps people with their money, and it's his birthday,
sir.
my birthday. We do all that, and by the way, we do have a tax date coming up next week. So if you punted back in April, get that done in
It's coming
October.
up.
All right, so I just threw that out. There's your Raskin Global tax minute.
There we go.
Baseball, let's do it real quick, and then we'll get on to football. But
Yes.
some emotions for the week with the Washington football team coming here, with the escape of the Ravens, the Houdini Act. But really, the baseball thing, I think you read my dear David Rubenstein letter. A lot of folks at your Uncle Howard read it. Your mom even said to me, like she's down. So, where are you with the Orioles at this moment? Because
Disappointed.
you're a guy with, I don't want to say
Disappointed.
you're a guy with a lot of money because I see these Trump. I'm rich as hell. I don't think you're rich as hell, but you can afford Orioles tickets, right?
Right.
And you are a guy who, much like you and I, that we're friends. You and I like each other, even though you're a
Yeah,
crazy Republican and I'm a really sane Democrat.
that's right.
And we can talk. Listen, at your event the other night, we could be talking Gaza, Israel, or we could be talking Yankees. We could be talking anything
Yeah.
because you're in a mix of a lot of conversations. But I
Yes.
would say from where guys like you and I are on a sports conversation, we are as old as dirt when it comes to baseball and
Amen.
Oriole history and how much we would love the Orioles if they loved us back, how much Oriole stuff I have in my closet, how I don't hate the game. I've enjoyed the games. I want to get to know the players. I want to promote the product the way I've done for all these years. And there's
Yes.
something about me that my heart is open. Your heart is open. I'm gonna have Dennis Kolatzis on. Why aren't we in those empty seats? Like, why wasn't it a priority for you to pick me up and say, I know you're pissed at Angelos and his dead soul, but you're going to sit your ass in the upper deck. I'm buying you beer. You're going to put a hat on, and we're going to cheer for this team. Why were there 10,000? I mean, these
Didn't
are.
matter.
Yeah, go
Didn't
ahead.
matter. To me, and again, this might be an MLB thing. I don't know if it's necessarily an Oriole thing, but a couple things were there for me. 4:30 was inconvenient, so I can't help it there. That was just inconvenient. And the wild card round, which is now this 2 out of 3 deal, to me didn't really matter. I want to see the team in the championship series or the World Series. That's me personally. That's an MLB thing. There's too darn many
So
rounds of
you are the guy out
playoffs.
there with $700 for game one
Yeah, not
for
going to
two
do it.
seats on the roof for the ALCS.
Yeah,
You're
sure.
that guy.
Sure, I'll go
Okay.
to the ALCS. I'll go to the World Series. My wife said the same thing. Kathy said, "Why aren't you going to these?" I said, "Because they're stupid. It's just,
No, they're
it's too many."
meaningful. They're
No,
meaningful.
no, they're not. There's too many
Leonard, you didn't
teams.
feel that way when Denver
No,
came in here back in '01 to play Trent Dilfer on that cold ass
no, but
day. We had
that's
no problem. It was a
no,
wild
that's
card
one
game.
game. That's one wild card game in football. Different. I don't know. It's because it's been around longer, maybe, whatever.
But
But
still 4 weeks you got to go win in January. It's four rounds. I mean, you've been
yeah,
a
but
hockey
two
fan,
out of
dude.
three, oh,
Hey,
too long. Talk
answer those
about too long.
questions. With hockey season or hockey playoffs?
Both hockey season, hockey playoffs, all of them. NBA, MLB. It's ridiculous. We know this is buck doubloons, man. This is all money. This is who's got the gold. They're just taking more and more. It should just be regular season. I know that the owners make their money in the playoffs. The players don't make their money in the playoffs. Uh, so this is an owner's grab at our pockets for a lot more money than they already soak us for. And it's just too much. It's too much. The season, the fact that they're going to be potentially snowed out. I mean, we had a snow game once here. I'll never forget that one.
Jay
But
Gibbons won't forget it either. Neither will
right,
Rodrigo Lopez.
right. But we have the fact that we could have snow in the World Series. The fact that in hockey that there is hockey in June and then it starts again in September. It's
Miami,
ridiculous.
in Miami,
It's
and Vegas.
ridiculous. Right. It is just insane. These seasons are too long. The playoffs are too long. Too many rounds. Hockey, 4 out of 7,
Leonard, you do
4 rounds.
I know you wish you were at the Capitals winning the cup. And I
Yes.
was there to represent you and
Yes.
everybody who
That's
loves
right.
me, right? Me and my wife had a great time with Barry
That's
Trotz
right.
that night. And but
I did have tickets for the next game had they come home.
when I walked into the rink, it was 115 degrees. I was in a sport coat,
Outside.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Literally, I was on a bus at the Bellagio where the buses went
Right,
I had an interesting phone conversation with John Harbaugh on that bus, as I remember, and going and getting out of the bus. And I was wearing a white jacket because it was just so hot. I have a picture
right,
of Kenny Albert. It was 114 degrees, and
right,
they won the cup out on the ice. And when I went up and went outside, it was still 97
right.
degrees. It
Thought
was
you're gonna die.
97 degrees when I
Crazy.
walked out of the hockey
Too
rink,
much.
winning the
Too
Stanley Cup.
much. Too much. Baseball playoffs too long, so I didn't go. Didn't go. Uh, I just and so now let's talk baseball. Oh, it was hard to watch. Guys swinging at bowling balls. I mean, what were they doing?
Well, they scored
What
one
were
run
they
in
doing? Yeah,
18
it was
innings, and it's kind
terrible.
of like where the Ravens had run the ball three times and you know what I mean, lost at home. The disappointment of the Orioles that they didn't hit the ball. They got
At
pitching good
all.
enough. It didn't hit the
They
ball.
pitching was way good enough to win. I mean, look, let's face it, they lost by a run twice. 1-0, 2-1. That's ridiculous against Kansas City. Come on. Another Kansas City team, Nestor, comes in and kicks our butt in Baltimore. That is disgraceful. The only thing is, Taylor Swift wasn't here for this one.
Well, of course, yeah. I mean, but maybe in the playoffs. We don't know. Leonard Raskin is out there. He's Raskin Global. He invests money and takes care of people's money and advises folks on money. He's a reach away at Raskin Global, also at the front of Baltimore Positive. He has his dog in the shot now. Is
There he is. Dog's hanging out with us for the morning.
Mountain dog. What kind of dog is that?
Great Pyrenees, yes.
Pyrenees.
Yes. Mountain sheep goat protector who likes to bark when I'm on
Lapdog.
the air.
Lapdog. It's
Lap
fine.
dog.
It's fine. It's fine.
100 pounds. 100 pounds of lap dog. Yes, sir.
Let me. I will take this to the next level with you next week because I don't want to
Yeah.
go into the can of worms. I'm just going to preview because Luke and I were previewing. We're going to talk quarterbacking and styles
Yeah.
and the Burrow versus
Wow.
Lamar versus
What a game.
Mahomes. Well, we got this Jaden Daniels kid coming this week. So I want to talk with you on Friday about the business of baseball and those
Yeah.
empty seats and
Yeah.
what it represents. You were the first one in my world to tell me I know the guy that's going to buy the Orioles. The guy that's going to buy the Orioles is this Redskins fan named Rubenstein. So but I do want to talk about money in baseball and when people get crappy with me in the aftermath of having that many empty seats at a playoff game where tickets were $10 and the weather was good enough, and I don't care what time of the day it was. I can't believe they couldn't get 45,000 people down there and did, right? Because they had a lot. Everybody knew the game was going on, whatever. Football and the Cincinnati game. I got to give you some oxygen on that because, we're not going to talk a lot about that the rest of the week, you and me. But what a football game and what a different styles in these
Wow.
teams and the division and what a thud for Cincinnati to blow a 10-point lead twice in the fourth quarter to go to 1-4. And the Ravens are deodorized now. The Ravens smell good if they can get through this part of the
They
schedule.
smell
They could be
first
6-2.
place.
Yeah.
Well, first place. So I'm one of these, I like football. I like hockey better, but I love football. And I was up just because, early morning watching the the Jets and the Vikings live from London. And I was up with the rain delay watching Dallas, who I thought were the most inept football team I've seen in the recent past, uh, beat the Squealers on a last 20-second touchdown pass. And it was a beautiful thing to see the Ravens in first place.
Well,
Now,
Dak Prescott making all those TV
oh
commercials
my
means something now,
goodness,
right?
right. He's there. He did it. He got paid and he came through for us. Look, you got Dak Prescott and Joe Flacco coming through, beating Pittsburgh 3-2, Ravens 3-2, and in first place with a division win. I love it. The Joe Burrow, we've talked about this numerous times. Not my favorite player.
You really dislike him.
I just think he's undeserving of his stature. I just don't. I mean, look,
I don't think he has any stature. His stature is he didn't win a Super Bowl, played
right.
well enough to win.
He didn't win a Super Bowl, and good for him. He got a big contract. Okay, great.
When he's been healthy, he's a slinger, dude. I mean,
there's no doubt he can throw that ball around. There's no doubt he can throw that ball around.
Great
But
quarterback.
I don't think he's a winner. I don't like his tude. He reminds me of Cam Newton. He's a white Cam Newton.
I mean, Baker Mayfield also has this tude that
but
always
Baker's been humbled. Baker's been humbled, and he's come back to earth, and he's like he seems like a little different guy,
If you're judging
perhaps.
attitude, Lamar, when they win and he doesn't play well, is really hard on Lamar. And I don't
Oh,
need to be in the
absolutely,
locker room to see that
absolutely,
with telling Marlon Humphrey to get out of his face on the plane last week.
no
And
doubt.
just sort of like it is very clear to me the seriousness and the lack of seriousness he takes these regular season victories in any way, shape, or form because he's gotten on planes from LA after beating the sauce out of the Rams 51 to 10. He knows what that feels like. He doesn't
Yep,
care about that feeling. He cares about how he felt for 9 months, like the Orioles
not
should
beating
care
the Chiefs.
after scoring one run in 18 innings.
That's
That
right.
that that eats at you. And these
He
guys,
and
Adley
that's
Rutschman doesn't want to show his
and
face around it.
this is maybe I, because I'm not in Cincy and I don't know the borough scene and so on. I'm just seeing them from afar. Obviously, that's all I got.
Boy, they sell tickets out there, Leonard. I'll tell you that.
Yes,
It
they
was
do.
$200 to get in on Sunday.
Hey, there you
And
go.
I mean, that fan base has been energized since when Marvin was there. It really has been.
Right, right. And I just watch him and I just think, no. Now I will say this. Watch some of the post game interview and the coach was saying all the coach speak things about they're not out of it and they're playing good ball and they just have to finalize finish, blah, blah, blah. And then Burrow got to the mic and said, we're just not good. We're just not a championship team. We're just not good.
Well, championship teams have the operation of special teams where the ball gets down and you at least get the kickoff
Right,
clean.
but
And
okay. So overtime, we fumble, and of course Lamar's going to think about that for another week because that's what he did. And then Burrow gets the ball, and
they sat on
who's
it.
who's calling the play calls when they lit us up in the passing, and they run the ball three times against
That's
the
doing
Ravens?
Zach Orr a favor.
Right, and it's doing the Ravens a favor because now you're relying on everything working just right for the kick, which it didn't because the holder dropped the ball. And then he kicked a Shankopotamus, which was beautiful. And then King Henry runs for 50 yards. Would have scored, he said, if he knew the guy was behind him. He didn't really realize that. But then Tucker comes in and boots it, and we're done. Who the heck is making those play calls saying, we're going to throw the ball, we're going to run the ball three times? I don't get it. I don't get the end of the first half play calls for the Ravens. It was disgusting, and we gave up a touchdown we shouldn't have because the offense didn't do a darn thing, and they're calling timeouts and they're throwing weird.
We did 20 minutes on the Harbaugh timeout. Believe me, like
What
I
the,
can't believe some of these strategic things are happening. In
right? Who is doing this stuff? Who is making these play calls and these timeout calls? And I'm watching the game. I'm no coach. I'm just a Joe dude sitting at home watching football, and I'm thinking, what are they doing? And then overtime, okay, he fumbled. I get it. I'm thinking we lost. They got the ball. They need 10 yards, 15 yards for a chip shot. And then they run the ball three times right up the middle. What the? Who are these people, these professionals getting paid all this money to make these terrible play calls when I'm sitting at home thinking, that's
you're
ridiculous?
thinking you manage money better than they're managing the game
Oh,
clock
for sure. Look, if
and
I
their
managed
timeouts.
money as bad as they manage timeouts and oh yeah, I'd be out of business. Holy cow.
Leonard Raskin is here. I would hold up your mallet, but I used it last week and it's in my travel bag because
There
we
you go.
actually opened beer with it at Costas.
That's right.
I still haven't
That's
used it
right.
to crack crabs, although I did use a couple the other night.
But how about
I'll
the new
just
one? How about the new one? You saw the new one,
Yeah, I
right?
saw the new one. Yeah, I didn't pick it up because it was a mess. So I have something for you that's very special. It's your birthday this week.
Yes.
You invited us to your big birthday party and your big annual Raskin Global event that you had on
Yes.
Four Corners on Saturday. My wife and I took about 7 or 8 crabs out because you had some leftovers.
Yep.
Thank you to the Conrad's folks. They made some beautiful crabs. So way to go, Tony. I love you. So my wife came home and after the Ravens won, I picked crabs. She picked crabs. We had 1 pound and 11 ounces, 12
There you go.
ounces
There you go.
of meat. My wife made a vat this
Oh, there you
big
go. The big
of
pot.
crab soup. We took the legs out. My wife is an incredible soup maker. I mean, like, just
Beautiful.
makes great soups,
Beautiful.
right? So you, for your birthday, are getting a quart
There we go.
or a pint, whatever the
That's
hell we
whatever
got.
it is. I'll take it.
You're gonna get it, and it's gonna be
Beautiful.
served up, and it's gonna be the remnants. Now, my wife puts okra in the crab soup, and that was controversial with Bill Cole from Cole Roofing, who does our deck service. She puts Silver Queen corn that she got this summer from the Bartenfelder
Outstanding.
farm here in Baltimore County, down at
Outstanding.
this farmers market. She got Wise Markets all up in that thing. She went to Wise before, fire roasted tomatoes, bacon,
I'm
Wise
ready.
brand bacon,
I'm ready.
Applewood. It's the best. So it's going to be nice. It's
Sounds
going to be
delicious.
nice. All right. Leonard
Sounds
Raskin can be
delish.
found at Raskin Global, where you can be found on Friday at Pizza John's with us,
Yes.
celebrating his birthday, which is Saturday, my birthday, which is Monday, Sammy Hagar's birthday, Sunday, Jim Palmer's birthday's Tuesday, the late, great John Wooden. And by the way, if anybody can get in touch with Stacy Keebler, I'm on her Facebook page, but I think it's sort of like fake. Tell Keebler happy birthday. We share the same birthday, and tell her I want to bring her to Essex and get. She's had pizza. She had many. She's in all that modeling and I eat this and all. Stacy's eating some Pizza John's back in the day. Stop. Maryland Lottery bringing it to us. I have the Raven Scratch off. It's been a lucky batch. Our friends at Liberty Pure Solutions, 1-800 Clean Water, always there. As well as our friends at Jiffy Lube Multicare powering us up and out. Luke's and Owings Mills making things happen around here. Oh, and our friends at Curio and Foreign Daughter as well, sponsoring Maritime Magic on Friday night with my wife and I. We were down at Living Classrooms Foundation. James Bond. My wife had it was a hot, it was weird. And James and his wife were just so magnanimous with my wife and making her comfortable. And everybody at Curio putting that thing, and just the whole city is lifted on a night like that. Leonard, I'm going to drag your ass, you and Kathy, next year for your birthday. I'm going to drag you to Maritime Magic because it's the best
There we
party of the
go.
year.
Beautiful.
We ate our faces off, and I saw my Fadley's friends, just so many friends and so many people. It was a beautiful night. It was a little warm. It was a beautiful night. So I want to give some love to Curio for writing a big check for a good cause and doing the right thing by the community. We love to talk about that stuff. So couple
Absolutely.
Super Bowls away. Hopefully the Ravens are in the cup on Super Bowl and New Orleansing and doing all the grilled oysters and all that stuff. But in the meantime, we got to go beat the Washington, whatever their names are. Mr.
Right.
Rubenstein's favorite football team. He's Leonard. I'm Nestor. We are WNST, AM 1570, Towson, Baltimore. Beat the Commanders. Don't lose to them. Come on,
That's right.
Lamar. Let's get it together.